Hello and welcome back to another episode of Nimpulse Plays, where today we're having a bit of an excursion, maybe just a one-off episode. We are playing some PC Building Simulator. This was a game I picked up a few months ago that I've had a lot of fun with, just as you can see by the career having a continue button beneath it. And it is a game that helped me, certainly, as somebody that was very anxious about having to deal with anything computer related in terms of hardware or even just general setting up and knowing which parts are the best parts to buy or to even consider. You know, prior to this, I was very much a, oh well, I've only used Intel, so I'll only use Intel again, without realizing the benefits of both systems. So I thought today I'd just do a little maybe one-off episode where we are going to just go through the life of a PC building simulator, and just kind of, just get to grips with it. Obviously I've played it before, so we should be able to skim through a lot of these. For instance, this is our first job, so to speak. The requirements are the PC has to be able to boot to the OS, the operating system, and we must remove any viruses. So we bring it over to our little test bench. And what we can do, we don't actually need to take anything apart because it just needs to boot to the OS. So likely, there's just hold on. There we go. I'm used to all the benefits of a later stage career where you have a lot of these buttons that kind of do things for you, which I guess is somewhat against the element to it. Now we're putting on a USB drive. Bam, pressing that power button. Swing over to the menu. A lot of the tutorial I already knew. What we want to do now here is from our USB, put in that virus scanner and get rid of them viruses. Take a restart before everything takes effect. Maybe not something people do as often in their own time, but something PC Building Simulator thinks you should do every time. Bam, look at this. Look at that number grow. 234 files infected. If only virus scanners in real life were as fast as this. But hey, then it wouldn't be a game. Bam. We'll leave that on there for them. And that is effectively the first job done. Didn't have to pay anything, didn't have to do any parts. Just straight on in. And we swing over here, over to our email. And this was our first job. We collect our money. £100 right there. The life of a PC repair shop, though I think maybe if only. This is Timbo, our uncle. He's given us a stake in the company, as well as taking some of our money. And he's letting us get to grips with the whole idea. Very key piece of information right here and advice. Remember to use your thermal paste when putting in a CPU. Otherwise the PC is just going to straight up overheat and not boot. Which would be terrible. Nice. So we've basically done it. And if we look at our emails, we have no impending job tasks. So, early day. And we see our bills coming up. Let's see. We've got Tim's Red Hot Repairs. Let's see what kind of jobs we've got going on the go. We've got replace graphics card. Install a Mortoni Easy Store 500 gigabytes as a hard drive. Remove viruses, clean out dust. And just a guy saying, thanks for fixing my computer. Which I like. I like that there's follow-up emails. And sometimes follow-up jobs. For now though, we need money, so we're going to take them all. Let's see, so we need a Mortoni Easy Store 500 gigabyte hard drive, and a Sheen GeForce GTX 970 gamer. Now, we don't have a supply as much yet, so we need to buy those straight out. Keep in mind we've only got about $85. What was it? It was a Sheen 970 gamer. Jesus. Look at the cost of that. How much are we getting for this? Okay, so he's budgeted $300, which means that if we buy it, they'll reimburse us for how much we did on top of labor. So we won't worry. We'll get a slight bit of debt, and then we'll be okay. Yeah, there's the one I wanted. So add that to cart at the same time. What was the other budget? $50 for an easy store. Very well. Looking for Mortoni. There you go. 500 gig, $50, bang on the money. There is one thing about this game, which is, and I paid for first day delivery, of course. Indeed, and immediately I've become overdrawn. Everyone that sends you a job knows precisely how much the cost of the part to replace the problem is, but they don't necessarily always know what the problem is, which I find interesting. So the budget will always be, you know, zero sum. You'll always be able to pay exactly what you need. We got all those. Very well. So we've accepted the jobs, and we have the parts. We probably could have sent them to arrive tomorrow, because the PCs themselves won't arrive until tomorrow, as we see on the calendar. Alright, what we got here? Queen Brittany. This one was replace graphics card. Very well. Slide that case panel off. Get this PCI lock off. This is just what holds any cards in the PCIe and PCIe slots in bay. That peels away. It's not a bad case, to be honest. It's quite nice. I'm not a fan of this big clunky front panel though. You know, it's like the older office computers. We'll slide that old graphics card out. That was powered, I think, directly off the board. There wasn't even any PSU connection to that, or power supply unit. Look into our stuff here. Yeah, see, you've got a broken one here, and I can sell that broken one for $8. I think that's all I can do, because the game's still kind of in like a beta, I think, or an early access. So I'll sell that for now. And then we're going to put this one in. Shazam. Then we need to re-secure it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Slam that on. We don't have to worry about a side cover, that just came with the tool to begin with. And now let's turn it on, make sure it boots. Connect all these up. Nobody uses DVI anymore, nor the VGA. Unless this is a VGA? Although it looks like, yeah, it looks like HDMI. Okay. Bam, power on. We have a screen, that's already a good start. Bam, even better. There you go. We even got $35 remaining on our budget, so there was room to go over. There was room to mess up. For now, though, let's just check the email, make sure we haven't missed anything. This is Queen Brittany. Graphics card has fried itself and I need it to be replaced with the same one, an NVIDIA GTX 970. Maybe one of those Sheen ones. Very well. Well, that's done. We take this, we toss it into there, and then we collect our money. $520 back out of the overdraft. And with more money than we started, and we leveled up, which means we get access to more quality goodness. Alright, this was the Mortoni Easy Store 500 gig. This one? Yep. Throw that over. Got a nice clear-sided case. Take these 4 screws off. It's not a bad looking case. Got a dust filter over here, over the front. It's almost a more futuristic kind of looking one. So, we're looking to take out the hard drive, right? You might be asking yourself, but where's the hard drive? And it is either in the back, or, as I think, it might be in the PSU shroud. Which is this little clunky box thing that sits over the PSU and sometimes the hard drive bays. And there it is. Yeah, it does look like it slides out the other way though, which is expected. So we'll take off the back. There you go. As I recall, was he looking for more space or a replacement? Could you install a 500 gig hard drive, please? Okay, so he's looking at it for an addition, not a replacement, which means we don't disconnect any of this, and instead we just slide out the second bay. Get our... Where is storage? There it is. Blindsiding. Get that, slide that back in. Make sure that we have exposed... That's all fine. We have exposed the connector parts to the hard drive. The SATA and power, essentially. Plug those into the PSU. Bam. Hard drive now installed. How easy that was. Oh, it's the wrong panel. There we go. Now we just start putting everything back together. It can be good practice to maybe not put everything back together immediately, as you can obviously turn on the computer before putting it back together in case you've forgotten something. But I'm pretty confident with this one. Screw that in just a little bit more. Alright, cable all this together. Got our USBs, got our HDMI, got our power, and other USB. Slam that power button. And our survey says, bam, we boot. And on precisely budget. So yeah, over time the jobs get a little bit more difficult. For instance, this one is just remove viruses and clean. I mean, look at this thing. Yeesh. That's a lot of dust. Like, this has been sat in the garage somewhere, hasn't it? Nice case, though. I like this little handhold. So we'll open that up. Get our compressed air. Always try to hold compressed air even and level. Never upside down, otherwise you'll start blowing out the liquid nitrogen. And typically not a good thing to blow effectively water or water-soluble elements onto a motherboard. And we'll just keep that level, get in all the nooks and crannies, just blow away all that dust immediately, looking better, you know? Alright, now stick that side panel back on. We had no budget for this, so it's unlikely that there was a hardware issue. Plug in everything again. Getting that power. Bam. That's the point. We will also stick our USB drive in there so that we can install our virus scanner. Bam. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So yeah, the best part I think of this game that I found was simply that it very much helped me realize that when I was dealing with computers kind of in the physical world and with their hardware or otherwise, my fears about any wrong move would be, you know, a piece of machinery destroyed. It's like Lego. If you just treat it as everything has its place and you follow the rules in manuals that you're provided, nothing really bad will happen. Like, a fair few things are idiot-proof. And if you just follow the instructions, then you should be fine. Scanning for viruses. Yeesh. This person needs to consider their browsing habits, you know? And then we'll throw that into the delivery area and get ourselves $100. And we leveled up and got access to everything. Up to the i7 series. We got ourselves some sticks of RAM here. Auto connect tool, very useful. And level 3 unlocks the Ryzen quad-core CPUs. I think at the moment we're just working with the Intel. What else we got? Yeah, 6th gen Intel core processors, 2666 MHz RAM, there we go. And the auto connect tool, which is one of the things that I immediately missed when starting a new profile. But not bad though. Cleared out our jobs for the day. And we walked away with, I think, 500 and something odd dollars. It's not bad. Not bad for a day's work. Roaming back into the office. What we got? Upgrade to 16 gigs of RAM, 140 budget. What's this guy got going on? Okay, so we'll probably need to take out this 2 gig set and get a full 16. Sometimes you'll find they have 8 gigs or something comparable, and then you can just upgrade what they have. But you typically want RAM of the same type, and I think very much the same frequency. I might be wrong though, feel free to tell me if I am. Remove viruses, very easy. Need your help? I borrowed my mum's brand new PC and I think I clicked on something I shouldn't have. Now it's riddled with viruses. I need it done before she gets back from her friend's house. Hurry. 3 exclamation marks. You know he's serious. Hot and broken PC. Not very good with computers, but mine isn't working properly. It's been getting very hot lately and running slower and slower. I don't think I can hear the fan anymore. It lives on the floor of my dusty office. I hope it's not clogged up. If you do have to replace the fan, then please pick the cheapest one. I can't afford anything fancy. Thanks, Best Audrey. Best Audrey. She's the best one. I need to replace the air cooler for that one. Very well. Do I clean PCs? I've been known to. You work with computers, right? I need my gross PC cleaned out and cleaned up. Or blown out and cleaned up. There we go. It seems to be running quite warm. I need it before... I have no idea if this is American calendar or not, so either the 1st of May or the 5th of January. Also known as tomorrow. I've noticed it sometimes run a bit slow too. But those plastic white cables look really nice. So sometimes if you read the email, they'll give these little hints about things that they'll like especially, and those will increase your review score at the end. So if I use plastic white cables, this person will especially enjoy it. Okay, clean out dust, remove viruses, replace air cooler, and upgrade 16 gigs of RAM. So, we need to head to the shop. And we need to head to memory. Now, we've got to look at their PC stats. So we've got to look at what their motherboard can actually handle. So they're on a Mortoni H170 MTech Plus, which is, I believe, in LGA motherboard, which means Intel only. Which is good because we don't have access to AMD processors at the moment. So H170 MTech Plus. So we can now go to the shop and also have a look at that. So this is this one. So max RAM speed 2800, which means if we buy something over that, they won't really gain the benefit to it. So we might as well try to buy something that or lower. So memory filter. We can only go up to 2666 anyway, so... And what was the budget? 140. What can we do with that then? If we got 2 sticks of this, we'll be running into 160, which would be over budget. If we got 2 sets of 45, that'd be 90 for 8, so that probably wouldn't be good, which means we're going to need to go a category lower. So 2400 megahertz. So if we get one of these, then we do 70 plus 70 is 140. That is precisely on budget. Did they have a preference? They did not, which means we can buy anything we like. So we're going to go for... They're both the same cost. Might as well go team group. So we get 2 of those in. There we go. Did I screw up? No. Yes, because this is adding on the delivery. Apologies. Okay, so we got our memory for that job. What else do we need to buy? An air cooler. What is their current air cooler? A Mortoni Thermal 100, which I believe is their way of saying the Intel stock cooler, which is a little kind of 4-legged kind of cooler that I think is one of the most quickly replaced items of hardware on a PC, just because it doesn't do the job with like really demanding stuff these days. So, CPU cooler. So this is the one they have. What is the budget? $10? Then we'll get them precisely what they want. And then we're going to make this next day delivery, because we don't need it right now. We haven't got the PCs. Clean out dust, clean out dust. Those plastic white cables. Do we have plastic white cables? Check our inventory. We do, so we don't have to buy those. Which is good. And then, call it a day. Nothing we can do now. Gotta wait for the PCs to arrive, and here they are. Got our RAM and air cooler. What's this one? This is clean out dust. Meanwhile, there's some hardcore rocky music in the background. Look at this. Filthy. Filthy. Got a nice SSD though. Solid state drive. Blowing out all this dust, all out these nooks and crannies. Especially in the fans where it's kind of accumulated over time. There we go. Immediately looks better. Just check all around. Nice cooler master case. So, what have we got going here? Don't worry, the memory's not full this one, so we don't have to worry about it. I think it was just clean out and check for viruses, wasn't it? Yeah, clean out, can boot to the OS, not even a check for viruses. Very well. And what we're going to do, cable up. Get the USBs in. Get that HDMI. I think HDMI was a high definition media interface. Was that it? Who's to say? PC does indeed boot. We will go no further, for we respect our customers' privacy. Bam. Cost us nothing other than compressed air. Asus Radeon, so it's a graphics card. We got a new job as well. PC's super sluggish. Can you put in 8 gigs of memory? I heard you guys put used parts in PCs. Please don't do that. I really need this done quickly. So, over time, as you take people's working out pieces of hardware in order to replace them with better ones as per what their request is, you then build up a stock of used items, which you could use in new people's jobs, but it's kind of ethically like a low ground right there, so I tend to try to use new products if I can afford them, but sometimes you can't afford them without going into serious debt, and it's just easier to use a used product. That's more game specific though. I'm pretty sure anyone kind of in the real life PC building areas would try to use new products if they can. Just means it would be a bit more expensive client side. Alrighty, let us do this one, which was the RAM upgrade. Got one of these cases again from GSX Jeff at Pmail. So, take out RAM, remove these little clips either side. Sometimes they only have one clip. Take out that RAM stick and then slot it in there. I like to, and this might be something that is hardware kind of inaccurate to do, but I like to space them out in these slots 1, 2, 3 if I can. Simply to give both of them breathing room, as well as to, I want to say somebody told me a long time ago to space them out this way because then they work in tandem with each other better. No idea. As far as the game works, it doesn't go into that much detail, so you don't really have to worry about it. So, stick that side panel back on. You've got to recable up everything. So when you're pushing in the new memory, always follow your motherboard instructions, but typically all you have to do is align it so that the key, which is the bottom section of the RAM stick you're putting in, there is a gap in between kind of the connector elements. Make sure that lines up with the sticking out part of the DIMM slot that you're putting it into on the motherboard. It's keyed, so it means you won't be able to put it in any other way, and if you force it, you might damage it if you don't kind of follow the rules on that one. Will it boot to OS? That's about to find out. Shazam. Actually, that's the point. Wasn't this guy the one that wanted... No. Oh no. I accidentally sent in that other job with the white cables, or I forgot to put white cables in. So that's what probably got me a slightly less than better review. Not entirely negative, but you know, not 5-star. But this job's done. Throw that over there. Collect that money. What else we got? Remove viruses. Hell yeah. Easy peasy lemon squeezy right here. I'm going to cable this up. Don't even have anything hardware related to do, which also means no cost to us. Bam, bam, bam. We'll also put in our USB drive and see if we can get it to boot. It does indeed boot, so now throw our way over to the virus scanner. Wait for that to fully install. Strangely, it takes more time to install than it does to scan a whole computer. Do a little dance while we wait. You can see all the ranges for like upgrading, so if you're working on multiple different PCs at the same time while waiting for tests or things to run, you can have one going here, another one going here, another one going here, and then also for PCs that you build later in the game, you can then sell them on PC Bay, which is their eBay version, for a tidy sum of money. Let's get that scanner. Yeesh. 524. What have you been doing, man? Whatever you were doing, leave it alone. There we go, that's that job done. What else we got going on here? This was the replace air cooler. Oh my god. This person, once again, one of the people that puts their computers in a very dusty environment. That's why it's always good. Compressed air you can pick up from almost anywhere. Just kind of a casual kind of go around with it, making sure to keep it level. Not getting too close or you might damage with kind of the wind pressure some of the elements of the board. We're just getting a lot of that dust out. Clearing all these little nooks and crannies, all these PCI slots into the fans as well, especially. So this case, especially, it only looks like it has one fan going. So there's a lot of work for that poor fan to go. You can also install fans kind of in these slots here, or indeed in this slot here, which is what these screw holes are for. And it can help the airflow of your case and prevent it from overheating quite a lot. So, we need to actually remove this. So, we unplug the fan first, which is this little 4-pin header. Take that off. Those ones don't have screws because they have little click-in points. And then what we're going to do, what everyone should do, is you would take out the CPU, clean away what thermal paste residue there had been, put it back in, and then apply more thermal paste on top. Just a little pea-sized dot right in the middle, depending on your CPU size. For these more square ones, just a single pea-sized dot in the middle. And then what we're going to do is squish down our CPU cooler. This just demonstrates where the airflow is going to come from. So as it takes in air, it's going to spin it from kind of the entry point here, straight out of the case into this area over here. And then we just need to cable it up again. Bam! That is a cooler replaced. And now, as we connect everything back up, this is another thing we can do to potentially save time, is connecting everything back up. Press the power button. We're pretty sure it's going to boot, so we're just going to put the side panel on while it does. Bam, bam, bam. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Throw that over there. Look at that money. $1,000 and it's been like, 3 or 4 days at best. And we got all these PC parts coming in. A Russian Tech Themis Evo. I think that's a CPU cooler. This is a graphics card. What else? This is RAM, this is RAM, this is RAM. Nice. There you go. I don't even know what time it is. I think it's probably not that late. Are we on January? So it is the American calendar. Now we know. What up? Oh, that's the point. We screwed up. There was one thing we didn't do. We didn't order the RAM for this person's upgrade. 8 gigs of memory. Okay. What board they got? A DFL H170 4-Tune-X. I tell you, the naming conventions are getting weirder and weirder. This is a LG A1151 Skylake socket. RAM speeds up to 3000. That's a hefty piece of equipment. At least in this moment it is. And they need, what, 8 gigs? And they have a budget of 150. Let's try to get them the best 8 gigs they can then. 150. They only want 8 gigs, so I don't want to, make them pay more than they have to. So what we're going to do here is we'll go with the highest frequency we can get going on at the moment, and is supported by the motherboard. And we shall get ourselves an $80 stick. What RAM do they have at the moment? They have a DFL Motivator 4 gig 2400. So, we want to try to stick with the same RAM that they have typically. So we're not actually going to use this. We're going to use the same RAM they have been using, which we do have access to. Which was this set, I believe. Motivator 8 gig, yeah. So we're going to have add to cart. $40, we'll do same day delivery because we do need it for today. And then they'll have 8 gigs of RAM because we're upgrading their 4 to 8. Bam. I swear a lot of people have this case. It's quite a nice one, I guess. Could do with some fans here. Maybe more exposed front, I think. It's not bad though, plenty of room. I like the PCU shroud. Anyway. We forgot to pick up our RAM. It's over here. What up, RAM? Do memory, motivator. Zoom in just a smidge. Open that memory clip. Slide that RAM in. Then cable up, see if it boots. Could just try to almost send it home now, but that would be poor performance. For all we know, we haven't put anything in properly and it's not working. Pretty confident though. There you go. Upgraded 8 gigs, only cost us $40 and only cost them $40. Blammo. So, these are all the new jobs. What we got going on? Clean out dust. Sure, we can do that. Is there anything else? Plastic white cables, we've got those, which is good. Install Sheen Power King 600s. That's a PSU, which is fine. When I try to benchmark it or run a game with computer crashes, I haven't replaced my PCU. Could the new parts be drawing too much power? That is another problem. Is during like intensive kind of benchmarking, when your hardware is pushed to its core, it's going to be drawing more power, either to cool itself down or to do more. And your PSU, your power supply unit, can only put out so much. And in the cases where it can't put out enough, your hardware will just short or otherwise fail-safe, just kind of turn itself off, which can lead to a blue screen. We also need to run 3D Mark, which is a real-life piece of software for benchmarking. Apply thermal paste and run 3D Mark. Ah, the doctor says 76. Hi there, I bought a PC from you 6 months ago. From Tim? And it's been overheating whenever I try and do anything on it. I took a look under the CPU cooler and there's no thermal paste. What kind of Mickey Mouse business are you running? I demand that you fix this for free, and this time test the PC before you send it back out. So no cost for labour, no cost for budget, but luckily thermal paste is free. 3D Mark isn't, but it's worthwhile getting. What else we got here? Hi there, I hope you can help. My computer stopped working the other day and now will not turn on at all. Please can you have a look for me? I think it might be the motherboard. If it needs a new one, I know it needs a Skylake socket. So, replacing a motherboard. It's $100 budget. His current one is a Mortoni H170 MTech. And it does indeed need to be Skylake because it is the Intel Celeron chip for processor. So we'll accept that, no worries. We've got everything on the go. We're going to shop, start getting our pieces in order. That's the motherboard. That's fine. Sheen Power King 600. Budget of $80. Sheen Power King 600, $80 exactly. Thermal paste is fine, and this is just a clean one, so that should be all we need to do. PC's arriving tomorrow, so we'll do next day delivery. $210 right there, but first, we need some software, because we need... Or do we already have it? We might already have it. I assume we already have it, which is the 3D Mark software. If I do add or remove, yeah, we have 3D Mark, which is the benchmarking. Okay. Well, nothing to do but wait for that. Technically what we should be doing to decrease our utility bill, which is actually a mechanic in the game, is turn the lights out as we leave. And technically turn the PC off, but I can't be bothered to do that. Alrighty, back at it again. Turn that light on. Get all our parts going. Alright, which is this first one? Replace motherboard, the hardest one. Still doable though. Just need to keep your parts alongside you. So, the problem with anything motherboard related is almost everything connects to it, so there's a lot of work to get to it. First, we'll take out this graphics card. Then what we're going to do is take out this little CPU air cooler. We'll take out the CPU to follow by lifting up that little shield. Then we're going to take out the RAM. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, there we go. And then we're going to take out all of the PSU connections. So this is a motherboard, power supply, the main motherboard power supply. Then we have the SATA and the headers, so the buttons on the top of your case. This plug right here is what powers them. And I believe that's it. Just going to check. I believe they wanted plastic white cables. Very good. Which means when we cable, we click this, and we do sleeved plastic white, because why not? But first, we need to remove that motherboard. So this is us unscrewing them from the headers, which is what secures it to the case itself, on little brass standings, which are these little things. These exist because normally you'd ask yourself, well, how do I put power into a piece of metal on a piece of metal? Won't that just kind of conduct to it? That's what the headers are for. To keep it away from the other side of the case, as well as to then not make it conductive to the case whenever you would touch it. So, now we're putting in a new motherboard. Going to put in these headers first. In the real world you could probably reuse them, but if you've got new headers you might as well. And then we're going to screw in on top of those. It's a nice new clean little board. There we go. And now we are going to put everything back on bit by bit. First off, we'll do the CPU. Close that little shield. Get ourselves some thermal paste, and never forget the thermal paste. CPU crawler. Get this thing. Stick that on top. And then we're going to connect it just for posterity. Next we'll do the memory. Open these memory clips. Click that in. Second one, we'll do in this slot. Not going too badly so far. We'll install. Get a graphics card. Slide that in. Screw it in as well. There we go. So that's all the hardware pretty much put back onto the board. But we're missing something. We are missing all of our PSU connections. So, motherboard power goes on, and it is routed behind the back of the case. So it looks nice. You could have it just kind of over here, over the graphics card and dangled over, but then so many cables in the way. Always try to route through these little grommets, these little pockets of mesh, so to speak. Main motherboard power. That is power for the hard drive, and finally power for, or I think it's a SATA technically, so it's data for the hard drive, and power for these little buttons at the top. Alright, should now work. I'm going to plug everything in and hope for a post screen or a boot screen. Shazam. It's a good sign already. Bam, look at that. You've now replaced the hardest component to replace in a PC in general, which is the motherboard. And it was easy peasy. Plug that over there. Even gave them new cables. We were looking at the wrong email. They might not want new cables. It should be fine. It's fine. Always remember to reread your emails. 8 gigs of RAM, why not? So, thermal paste and 3D mark. So this person, this is our Uncle Tim, was like, you know what CPUs don't need? An ability to cool down. Tim, you'll find out you're deadly wrong on that one. And then we are going to put some, not compressed air, thermal paste. Stick that up and over the top with the cooler of choice. Was that the cooler that they had? I think so. I think so. No reason I would have two of the new ones anyway. Sometimes it forgets to tell you what they had. It's part of being early access. We need to cable it up though, otherwise it won't actually do anything. There we go. Screw that back in. Cable everything back up. There we go. Power that on, but we're not even done. Get that USB drive, stick that in there. Because we need to install 3D Mark, because you wanted us to benchmark it, I think. Let's just check. Yeah, run 3D Mark. So benchmarking essentially gives him a number to say, this is how good my PC is when compared to you know, everyone else that runs this software. And it can be a good way of knowing if, like, what components or what parts of your PC will probably need upgrading in time or otherwise. There you go. Real piece of software. The Time Spy Hall of Fame. Oh. Opening that just opened Steam. It's the benefits of a real PC, I guess. So then we'll run this. And this is what you'd expect to see. It is trying to render in real time a high-definition scene as opposed to playing a movie. It's trying to task your computer with building the scene frame by frame. Because this person is effectively on an office computer, our FPS isn't great, and we're kind of chugging through the frames, if we're honest. But, kind of leave that to work as it does. Pretty much done what he wants there. Let's have a look, because this person wanted to upgrade to 8 gigs of RAM. What do they have at the moment? They had Team Group 2400 Silver 4 gig. So, might as well upgrade them on that. Memory, Team Group 2400 4 gig, $40. Yeah, they're $200 budget. They only want 8 gigs, so they'll only get 8 gigs, you know what I mean? Yep, that's set up on going. I think we accepted it as well. Yeah. Come back to here, how's it going? Oh. I mean, it's doing its best. For benchmarking as well, on a PC that is not specifically built for gaming, or for intensive kind of CPU or graphics card use. It's not blue screened, which means it is getting enough power and there's no hardware fault. But it's not exactly beautiful, you know? Hey, 2,823. So, their graphics card was doing the majority of the work. Their CPU, not so much. Graphics card pulling out 21 to 18 frames per second, and the CPU pulling out just 5. So, this person now knows, hey, I should probably upgrade my CPU at some point, and they might come to me for that. And give me money. Bam. Bongle. So Bongle's where they will review you and how like, from 1 to 5 stars, how well they think you did. The higher review you get, the more lucrative kind of offers you get. People asking you to build like computers for $4,000 kind of thing. I noticed your bungle rating is in the toilet. What are you doing over there? Well, Tim, you didn't put any thermal paste down. What was I supposed to do? Yeah, we're fine. We also got access to a load of other stuff, including the Ryzen quad-core CPUs. And then the motherboards to actually accommodate them. Got some Seagate Barracuda stuff. So you'll notice a lot of these brand names are actually real-life brands as well. These are people that, or corporations that partnered with the developers of the game in order to make a pretty realistic experience. This is fine. Alright, this one's clean out dust. Shazam. And we get our trusty compressed air. Gonna compress the heck out of this. Yeah, get that dust out. Getting all the nooks and crannies. There we go. Never forget the hard drives. Very good. What did the person say in the email? Any preferences? Some plastic white cables. So, they want some plastic white cables. Currently, there's no hardware issue, so what we're going to have to do is just unplug what cables they had. That one stays the same. I think these come out as well, as does this. And now we need to recable with the plastic white. We'll do sleeve plastic white. There you go. Maybe not on everything it works. Could be a bug. We'll go with a bug for now. Oh, there we go. We are using the plastic white cables for something. Although, realistically, we should be able to use it for everything. There you go. Seems to work out right. Stick that side panel back on. And then cable this bad boy up. there we go. Make sure it boots to the OS. Which it does. Take it, throw it into here. They didn't want any benchmarkings, that's fine. My PC is so clean, but there now seems to be some weird program installed. There's no weird program, we didn't even touch it. Interesting. Discard that, that's in transit. And then this one, which will make the final one of the video, we need to install a PSU, a power supply unit. And not a bad case to do it on either. So we've got to remove this little back part, the PSU mount, which is just what secures the PSU in place. Because it is a spinning turbine of power generation and conversion, it is very much, it needs to be secure, or else it will rattle the hell out of your cage. Then what we're going to do is take out all of the connections of power. Just one more to the hard drive. There we go. And now we can... The shroud should technically come off, so I think maybe I have to go into this into the back. Sometimes the shroud doesn't come off, and you can just slide out the PSU as normal, and the shroud's part of the case, which appears to be the case. So now we go and put the new one back in. Beam power supplies, Sheen Power King 600. Get that in there. And then we need to stick that PSU mount back on. Make sure that thing is secure. Very good. At this point, just checking they don't need any cables or anything, which they don't. And then just take the side panel back on. Wait, not this side panel, but this side panel. So we don't need to get to the back anymore. There we go. Now we just need to cable everything back up. So, small motherboard power, main motherboard power, hard drive power, and should be a connection up here that goes down to here, but I don't see it. So I guess it's fine. Maybe there's a secondary connection that I don't know about. It's possible. For now though, we're just going to cable everything back up. Hit that power button. Just take that side case on. Get our USB drive in. Swing over to here. Oh, they've already got 3D Mark. Well, there you go. And then we'll just run that for them. So yeah, this was PC Building Simulator. And overall, you get to do more than just kind of what I've shown you today, and with more equipment and different equipment especially. But it was something that was very cathartic and very kind of nice to just go through and learn as you went along. Like going from installing a hard drive and a PSU and a motherboard to the NVMe kind of sticks of storage and memory that you put on the motherboard directly, to different types of hard drive, to different types of graphics card, to different types of processor. It very much just gets all in the way, especially cases. You get kind of a big experience, and in at least some brands, if you're thinking about building your own PC, which can save you kind of time and money having to wait for somebody else to do it, you can try to find as much of the components on this game as much as possible in a custom mode, and then build it digitally to prepare yourself for then building it physically, which is something I would very much recommend if you were feeling anxious or nervous about it. For now though, as we wait for this 3D Mark to finish, I'd like to thank you all for joining me on this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.